People always assume beautiful women have perfect lives. They don't see the grinding fear underneath, the fear of becoming ordinary, replaceable, invisible. That fear controlled me. That fear ruined me. The chandeliers above me sparkled like 1,000 tiny stars, reflecting off my red dress, the same one Ethan bought me last Christmas. Back then, I told myself I married a man with potential. A man I could shape. A man who adored me. Now, he was just a reminder of everything I didn't have. We were celebrating my birthday at the Crystal Room, the kind of place where menus don't have prices and the wrong shoes can ruin your reputation. My friends were laughing, sipping $300 champagne, living the curated lives we posted online. And Ethan sat there like he didn't belong. His clothes weren't designer. His confidence wasn't loud. He didn't know how to play the beautiful game. I thought I could fix him. Instead, I started resenting him. "Ethan, honey," I called out, forcing sweetness into a voice poisoned by dissatisfaction. "Tell everyone about your big promotion." He stiffened, eyes uncomfortable. There wasn't a promotion. God, he was hopeless. I laughed. A brittle, tinkling sound. That's right. Still just a maintenance supervisor. My friends giggled. They weren't cruel, not really. In our world, insecurity was entertainment. Survival required dominance. If I didn't keep them laughing, they'd turn on me. Gemma smirked. Not everyone gets to be successful like Chase. Chase Larkin, the perfect distraction. Born rich. Never struggled a day. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect smirk, perfect temptation. He toasted Ethan with mock sympathy. To honest work. More laughter. Harper recorded it all for her Instagram stories. That was my tribe. That was the language of my world. Show no weakness. But Ethan's silence annoyed me. Why couldn't he defend himself? Why couldn't he be better? Look at him, I said, forcing cheer. So authentic. A real person among all us fakes. People laughed harder. Maybe if Ethan had just laughed with them, maybe if he played along, maybe if he tried. But no. He just sat there, staring at the table, letting me slowly burn everything between us. I didn't always hate Ethan. I loved the way he worshipped me. The way he smiled like he couldn't believe I picked him. The way he treated me like something precious. But adoration fades. It becomes expected. Taken for granted. The truth? Ethan bored me. Chase didn't. Chase swept into our lives with confidence and money. Or what I thought was money. He made me feel like I belonged in the world I pretended to be part of. Maybe I made mistakes. Maybe I crossed lines. Maybe indulgence became routine. But I wasn't going to leave Ethan, not yet. Security matters. Still, I needed attention. Excitement. Validation. And Chase gave me all of that. The bill came, $3,000. Ethan's card. Ethan's problem. I kissed his cheek for the audience. See? He's not completely useless. It was a joke. I think. He just smiled that small, defeated smile and wished me happy birthday. When we left, Chase, accidentally, spat on Ethan's truck. I laughed. I shouldn't have, but I did. Later that night, I rode with Gemma. We drank more. I posted stories of my glamorous birthday. No message from Ethan. No thank you from me. The next morning, my phone was dying from notifications. But none were from Ethan. He disappeared. I called him, no answer. Messaged him, no reply. Called again straight to voicemail. Then he texted hours later. I'm at work. At work? On my birthday weekend? He should have been begging for forgiveness for being boring. That afternoon, he came home. I was waiting with shopping bags, expensive ones. My credit card had gotten declined at Nordstrom. Humiliating. What did you do to our accounts? I demanded. I moved my money, he said. Your money? We were a team. Everything I spent to look good for us. You know I don't have separate funds. I snapped. You're supposed to take care of me. He stared at me, eyes cold. Why don't you ask Chase to help with your shopping? My heart dropped into panic. What are you talking about? He silently handed me his phone. A photo of me and Chase. Security camera angle. At his factory's parking lot. Not a funny flirtation. Not harmless fun. Proof. This is not what it looks like. I tried. It looks like adultery, he said. The way he looked at me. Not hurt. Not shocked. Dead. You humiliated me, he continued quietly. You used me. You lied. I felt the walls closing in. You can't prove anything, I whispered, too quickly. He raised an eyebrow. That was the wrong thing to say. Something in me cracked. Ethan, listen. I softened my voice, my eyes, everything. I love you. I know I've been distant, but I can change. We can fix this. He didn't move. How much did you inherit? I asked. He stared, then turned away. It doesn't matter. Of course it mattered. We were married. Everything he had, I had. We're a team, I said desperately. We always were. No, he replied. You had a team. I was a spectator. Then he opened the door. Pack your things. You have until tomorrow night. I froze. You can't throw me out of my house. It's not your house, he said calmly. Your name isn't on the deed. I felt something dark rise inside me. You have no idea who you're dealing with, I spat. He looked at me like he finally understood who I really was. I left, but not to pack. To regroup. To strategize. To protect what I deserved. I would not be thrown away like garbage. Not by Ethan. Not by anyone. If he wanted war, he just declared it. I didn't leave Ethan that night to pack. I left to plan my survival. Because that's what life is when you're born pretty instead of powerful. Survival. Beauty gives you access until someone decides you're a liability. And Ethan had just declared that I was a liability. Gemma poured me a glass of expensive wine when I arrived at her apartment. So, she said, crossing her legs, what's the plan with Mr. Pathetic and Rich? I blinked. Rich. I hadn't told her yet. For the first time in years, I held a secret that made me valuable. He inherited a fortune, I whispered. Factories. Properties. Millions. Gemma sat up straighter. Well then, she said slowly, you're not leaving him. Not now. I don't have a choice, I snapped. He told me to pack. Gemma laughed. And since when do you listen to him? She was right. If there was one thing I knew, it was how to flip a situation in my favor. I wasn't giving up a mansion, a company, and a lifetime of comfort because my husband suddenly found a backbone. Especially not after all the sacrifices I made. My looks, my youth, my time. Do you know what it costs to stay perfect? Everything. So no, I wouldn't walk away. Not without what I deserved. The next morning, everything went to hell. Harper posted a video of Ethan sitting alone in some dingy bar she'd recorded it the night of my birthday. Caption. When you realize your wife is too good for you, face with tears of joy. Hashtag sad hubby. Hashtag know your worth. I laughed at first. Harmless fun. Ethan deserved it. But then, the internet didn't laugh with us. They asked what I did to make my husband look that sad. They called me spoiled. A gold digger. A monster. What the heck? This wasn't the narrative I built. I was the classy wife married to a boring man. Not a villain. I called Harper. Delete that post. Relax, babe, she said. It's good engagement. Engagement? I was being eaten alive in the comments. I needed to control the story. Spin it. Fix it. I decided to post something soft. A beautiful photo of myself, looking wounded but hopeful. Caption. Relationships are hard. Don't believe everything you see online. Perfect. Emotional. Ambiguous. People would side with me again. Or, that's what I thought. The replies flipped. You cheated and want sympathy? You humiliated your husband. Get over yourself. Girl, fix yourself, not your Insta. How did they know? No one had proof. Right? Then the dagger. Screenshots. Text messages between me and Gemma. About Ethan. About our charity case husband. About how I could cheat and he would still pay the bills. I felt my blood go cold. Gemma, tell me you didn't screenshot our texts. I didn't, she said defensively. Someone hacked me. Hacked? By who?
Why? Paige.
Ethan's cousin. Little Miss Digital Devil. She was running Ethan's social media now, turning him into some kind of viral underdog hero. He was trending. I was the villain. The man everyone mocked yesterday was now a king. And I was the court jester burning at the stake. I stormed back home ready to fight, only to find the locks had been changed. My own house.
Locked.
I banged on the door like a lunatic until Ethan opened it, looking calm, almost satisfied. "We're done," he said. "My lawyer will contact you." "You think you can replace me?" I hissed. "You think you can survive in my world?" His expression didn't change. "It's not your world anymore." Then he closed the door on my face. I wanted to scream.
Cry. Destroy something.
But I did what I always do when cornered. I looked for a better exit. Chase opened his apartment door shirtless, like always, muscles showing, confidence radiating. "What happened?" he asked, pulling me inside. Everything spilled out. The humiliation. The screenshots. The inheritance. The locks. Chase's eyes widened at the money part. "25 million, he said slowly. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I snapped. "And I am his wife." He smirked. "Then let's make sure you stay his wife."
How?
He leaned closer. "We take what we can. You deserve that." "Take." I repeated. He nodded toward his laptop. "I know someone who can help us make Ethan look dirty. Your PI uncle already dug up your affair. We dig deeper on him. I don't have proof he did anything. So we create some." I stared at him. "Fake embezzlement," he explained. "Frame him. Make him look like a criminal. He goes down, you walk away with half. Half of 25 million.
God.
I could taste the victory already. I hesitated. What if it doesn't work? Chase cupped my face. "It will. Because he's weak. And you're brilliant." I melted into his kiss. This was the life I wanted. Passion, power, ambition. Not truck grease and disappointment. That night, we stayed awake planning. Things married people should never do. But married people married to the wrong person? That was different. The storm came 3 nights later, rain hammering, thunder cracking. Perfect cover. Chase drove us to the factory. Ethan's factory. His legacy. His pride. I would ruin it. Maybe then he'd understand what humiliation felt like. Chase had a crowbar. I held the flashlight, hands shaking. "Relax," he said. "Ethan won't be here. He's too much of a coward." But I wasn't thinking of Ethan right now. I was thinking of the life I could still salvage. Luxury. Security. Respect. We slipped inside easily. The lock snapped like it was made of plastic. When we reached the offices, I whispered, "This feels wrong." "What's wrong?" Chase muttered. "Is Ethan treating you like garbage?" That was true. He humiliated me first. I deserved more. I deserved better. After 40 minutes of Chase messing with the computer, he cursed under his breath. "It's not working," he said. "Just hold the light steady." Then a voice behind us. "Working late." I froze. Chase spun around. Ethan stood in the doorway. Hard helmet. Security lights behind him. Rage in his eyes. My stomach dropped. "Ethan." "Breaking and entering," he said. "Property damage. Corporate fraud. Nice list." "No," I protested. "It's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," he snapped. I reached for words. Any words. But Ethan wasn't listening. Mick, that giant from the factory, blocked the exit. Paige was filming, smiling like she'd won a battle that hadn't even started. I opened my mouth to scream, but Ethan cut me off. "You came into my building to destroy my life, and you lost." Everything inside me shattered. Chase ran. Ethan followed. I was grabbed by the arm. Cops stormed in. Handcuffs.
Cold. Tight.
Metal and fear. "Ethan, please," I begged. "We can fix this. I love you." He stared right into my soul.
No.
"You love money. You just never knew I had any." That sentence destroyed me more than the cuffs. They dragged me outside. Rain soaked my face. Sirens flashed. I watched Chase being shoved into a patrol car. We were both finished. All because Ethan stopped being weak. All because he got lucky. All because I underestimated him. In the back of the police car, shaking, mascara bleeding, I made myself a promise.
I would not let this be the end.
I would not lose everything to a man like him. If this was war, then I would return with fire. Because I wasn't built to lose. I was built to survive. The rain hit the police car window like someone hammering nails into the coffin of my old life. My hands were cuffed. My reputation shattered. The world watching. This was never supposed to happen to me. Women like me don't end up in the back of cop cars. We marry rich. We live beautiful lives.
We win.
But that night, I was a criminal. Jail wasn't like movies. No neon lights or dramatic shadows. Just harsh white rooms, steel benches, and officers who didn't care that my dress was designer. They took my jewelry, my phone, my dignity. And worst of all, nobody came for me. Not Ethan. Not my friends. Not Chase. Hours passed before the realization hit me. I was truly, painfully alone. In the morning, a lawyer arrived. But not for me. For Mr. Larkin, she said when I reached out desperately.
Chase.
He got help. I got silence. I asked the officer at the desk. Did anyone call for me? He didn't even look up.
No.
That hurt more than the handcuffs. When I finally got out on bail, the ride home was worse than jail. Every notification on my phone was a new kind of nightmare. Trending hashtags. Hashtag charity casewife. Hashtag gold digger gone wrong. Hashtag Savannah Callahan exposed.
Every comment was a knife.
She cheated on a good man, then robbed him. She deserves jail. Karma looks great on her. Her face is so punchable. My entire perfect online life turned into ammunition against me. Gemma tried to calm me. They'll forget in a week. Scandals don't last. But when she posted a defense for me on her stories, people dug into her too. The screenshots. The gossip. The cruelty. Suddenly her followers weren't laughing. She deleted every post involving me. Then blocked me. Just like that, a friendship built on popularity collapsed because I was no longer popular. Harper? She unfollowed immediately. Brand protection. She didn't even reply to my message. That's when I realized I never had friends. I had an audience. And audiences switch sides the moment the hero changes. Ethan was their new hero. I still had Chase, right? At least one person should fight for me. I drove to his apartment building, hope clinging like wet fabric. But his BMW wasn't there. And when I buzzed his door, no answer. A woman smoking on the sidewalk scoffed. You looking for the pretty boy? He dipped this morning. Where? I asked. She shrugged, blowing a cloud of smoke. Heard he's moving to Phoenix. Got a job selling cars. Funny, huh? Shooter shot down. My world tilted. Chase didn't love me. He loved opportunity. And I had none left. Court came fast. The hearing room was cold, sterile like the justice they were about to serve. Ethan walked in wearing a tailored suit, powerful, confident. He didn't look like a maintenance worker anymore. He looked like a man who owned half the city. And I looked like a beggar. His lawyer, Marla, presented everything. Cheating credit card fraud, attempted corporate sabotage, breaking and entering. Then, she added the screenshots I prayed were gone forever. I could cheat on him openly, and he'd still pay my bills. Why leave a man who funds the lifestyle? My own words became bullets. The judge's eyes were ice. Savannah Callahan. This marriage is dissolved on the grounds of adultery and malicious intent. Adultery. Malicious intent. Words that erase everything good you ever did. There will be no alimony granted and no property claims sustained. No alimony. No house. Nothing. Chase once called me brilliant. But Ethan played the longest game of all. He waited for me to destroy myself. I signed the papers. My hand didn't even tremble. I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. Until Ethan looked at me one last time and said, calm as ever, you could have had everything. Then he walked away, leaving me with the truth. I threw away the best thing I ever had. The weeks after the divorce were a blur of humiliation. Job offers? None. My degree? Worthless. Online brand?
Toxic.
Even my beauty felt cheaper, like makeup smeared after crying. I moved into a small, dark apartment with peeling paint, roaches in the bathroom, a view of a dumpster. From penthouse parties to trash cans, life has a wicked sense of humor. I tried messaging Ethan once.
I'm sorry.
No reply. He had moved on, surrounded by loyalty. Rosa, now head of security, Mick, his partner Paige, his media genius, his empire thriving. He gave employees raises. He became a local hero. He found respect. He found purpose. He found someone new. I saw her in a newspaper photo. A reporter named Jennifer.
Pretty.
Natural.
Real.
The picture showed Ethan smiling, genuinely smiling. He never smiled like that with me. It gutted me. One night, I walked to the edge of the river, the same bridge where Chase and I once laughed, drunk on stolen indulgence. I stared at the dark water below. I wasn't thinking of jumping. I was thinking of how easy it is to fall from grace. One wrong belief, one wrong choice, one wrong man, and suddenly, you're the villain in everyone's story. I cried for the version of me who truly loved Ethan once. The girl who wanted happiness, not status. The girl who believed he was enough. That girl died the moment I believed I deserved more. Months passed. The internet found a new scandal. My name stopped trending. But silence was worse than hate. Silence meant I no longer existed. So I kept scrolling Ethan's posts, watching his success, and remembering a life I destroyed. I saw a video of him touring the factory, confident, proud. Employees applauding him. Paige filming, teasing him playfully. Then Jennifer appeared at his side, microphone in hand. She asked him how his life changed. He smiled, the smile I used to own. Sometimes, he said, you have to lose everything to realize what was holding you back. I closed the app because I understood his subtext. I was the weight he needed to drop, and he soared without me. Now I wake every morning to the sound of neighbors fighting through paper-thin walls. I scroll through old photos, vacations, parties, my wedding day, trying to remember when happiness slipped into entitlement. Food tastes dull. Nights feel longer. Mirrors feel crueler. This is my punishment. To watch the man I underestimated become everything I said he'd never be, without me. And sometimes, in the lonely quiet, I whisper a truth Ethan will never hear. I did love you, just not enough to see your worth before the world did. Life goes on. People forget. But I don't. I can't. Because every time I close my eyes, I see the moment it all changed. It started with a birthday party, and it ended with me
Lost.